Hello, you beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of The Soulful Self. My name is Hannah, I'm your host, and today I'm going to be doing an episode in honor of International Women's Day, which was a few days ago. But I just think this love and gratitude and appreciation for all that it means to be a woman needs to be talked about and something that we need to learn to honor and embody more in our everyday lives because we live in a society that's not built to honor the feminine. And I believe that this is something for ourselves as a woman you need to call back and own for yourself because there is a power, there is this absolute gift that comes with being a woman. And I think it's so overlooked. This is something that I'm very passionate about, and I can't wait for my career to shift in a direction that I get to help women step into this and embody this and learn to honor this for themselves. So, this is what I'm going to dive in today because being a woman is such a gift. And I want to say all that I'm going to talk about, I am not trying to discredit men. We're not talking about men. I'm talking about what it means to be a woman in this life and the journey that I've gone on myself to get to where I am now with how I feel about being a woman and the absolute honor that it is. When I was younger, going through puberty, in the awkward ages of trying to figure out who you are and what you want to do, I was uncomfortable in my own body. I didn't understand all the changes that were happening to me, and I was only 11 years old when I first got my period. And at that age, I don't think you have an understanding at all of what this whole cycle means and what an honor it is. And it's not something in my family that was taught as this beautiful thing. And I hated it. I hated having my period. I hated the pain that came with it. I hated all these things about being a woman. I would even say I wish that I was a man. And there was a period in my even in my spiritual journey where I actually felt like my energy was more masculine, or maybe I had spent more past lives as a man. But the more I dive into understanding my own energy and energy as a whole, it's not that I have masculine energy. I don't. I am such a feminine woman, but it is the disconnection that I had from my feminine energy and the misunderstanding that I held of what it truly means to be a woman. And there is so much negative connotation around women from different periods of history, and most periods of histories, different cultures. There are so many cultures in this world still to this day that don't even respect women. And I think I didn't even understand. Sometimes I still don't even understand how poorly women can be treated because of the fact that they're a woman. But I believe it stems from a place of fear of how powerful and how incredible women are. Because without women, there would be not a single person on this planet. We are given the gift of giving life. We are given the gift of creation inside of our very own bodies. And I've never had children. I hope one day that I get to have that experience. But I understand now how precious this space that is my womb space truly is. And I have developed this deeper relationship with this energy and this space and this portal that lives within my own body. And I hope that I can inspire other people to do the same because it has been an absolute game changer in my own life, in my energy, in painful, in I've within pain that I've experienced in my menstrual cycle and emotional pain and all of this hurt that I had been carrying made me not want to be a woman. I never thought about not being a woman. That was never an option for me, but I would say, "Oh, this sucks. Why do I have to go through this? I hate getting my period. This is awful. Like, why can't we just get a text message from Mother Nature saying you're not pregnant? Awesome." Or if you're not even active, then why would you need a period to let you know you're not pregnant? It was just always a pain in the ass. It's something else you have to think about. It's something else you have to spend money on. It's all these things that you go through, these hormonal cycles every month, and sometimes it can feel like a roller coaster. And it's why don't men have to deal with all this shit? And but now I see and I understand it is such a blessing, and the way that I have shifted my relationship with my body and what it means to be a woman, I think has given me an absolute superpower, because I am honored that every single month I get to go through this cycle with the moon, and I get to honor all of these feelings that I feel so deeply, because they are here to teach me, to show me, to give me more compassion and empathy and understanding, not only for myself, but also for others. And our period every month is a monthly report card, a monthly check in from our body. They say it's approximately 3 months worth of data. So if you have a very easy period, your body's like, good job. Your hormones are doing well, your minerals are doing well, your toxic load's not over the top, all these different factors. We're not holding on to emotions because our sacral chakra is where we hold a lot of emotions, especially as women. And if you have issues with your hips, tight hips, painful periods, feeling overly emotional, it's a sign that you're holding on to energy in this space. But again, it's not like it's the end of the world. It's just a gentle reminder, or sometimes a not so gentle reminder. But if you're having extremely painful periods, like I used to, it's just because your body is saying, hey, hi, I just want to let you know that something's wrong and I'm causing you physical pain so that you tune in and pay attention to what's happening here. And there's a lot of different factors that can cause that. Again, it can be mineral levels, it can be hormone imbalances, it can be emotional pain we're holding on to, it can be trauma, past life trauma, generational trauma that we've not dealt with, all surrounding the energy of our sacral chakra. So, any sort of sexual abuse, any sort of emotions that have not been processed, especially that are so deep. This is a place where we really store them. And think about the trauma that women have been through throughout history. Think about what it was like for your mother and your grandmother and your great grandmother and your great great grandmother. We've all experienced very different times in history, and through most of those times, women had been suppressed. We weren't allowed to embody fully what it means to be a woman. But the beautiful part of right now is we are stepping into this space, stepping into this time where we're starting to have a deeper understanding and can be able to honor what that truly means and the absolute gift that it means to be a woman. And understanding that men and women need to be different because we have different roles, and it's the yin and the yang. They need to be opposite because they complement each other. And in this life, if you came here as a woman, honor what that is like. And I know that it can be really hard to stay in that feminine energy, to embody that feminine energy, especially if you don't have a partner, or don't have a partner who is good at being in their masculine and holding that space for you. Because I am a single woman and I've spent most of my adult life single. I don't have somebody providing for me. I don't have somebody protecting me or taking care of me. So a lot of roles in my own life I've had to take on for myself as those masculine roles of I have to work to make money or I won't survive. I have to provide my own shelter and my own food, and I don't have that that masculine energy to protect me. There's been moments in my life where I've experienced that and I understand how important that is, and I know one day I will have that, but it's also made me appreciate even more being in my feminine when I have those moments of somebody else taking care of me and providing for me, because there would have been a time where I would have felt guilty. And it's like, I'm an independent woman. I don't need a man. I don't need somebody to take care of me. I don't need this. I can do it on my own. But I don't want to, because being truly in your feminine is such a freaking magical power. It is a magical superpower that we have when we are a woman. And if you have somebody supporting and providing for you, and you are able to embody that energy, that state of flow, that just being, essentially, I see it as like this giant magnet. It's like the masculine is the push, it's the go, 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 but the feminine is the pull. It's the I just sit here and attract what I need into my life. And don't get me wrong, we still need to take aligned action. We still need to do things. It's not like I can just sit in my living room and all the world's problems are being solved. No, but it is the magnetic, the just magic that being in your true feminine energy brings, and learning to embody that and tune into that and expand that energy comes from understanding and loving and developing that deeper relationship with your self, your body, your feminine energy, but most importantly, your womb space. Because not only is our womb here as a portal to birth souls into this world, and it's a freaking beautiful miracle that we get to do that, that we get to have that and be that safe space for a beautiful little baby to come here. We're literally walking portals. We are literally walking goddesses portals that bring life to this world. So if you have ever doubted yourself, I think you just need to take a step back and just realize like what a gift from God you are, what a special divine creation you are, and give yourself some extra credit because you are beautiful and magical. And if a dude is listening to this, I highly doubt it, but like appreciate the women in your life, because we have not had it easy. We were not born into a world, into a society that was like, let's honor the beautiful women that we have before us. It is like, here, women, you have to do all these things that bring you out of your feminine energy. And hi, I don't know if you know this about me. My name is Hannah. I'm a conspiracy theorist. And I think we know by this point that being a conspiracy theorist doesn't mean that these things aren't true, because they just continue to get proven and proven and proven. But we're not going to go down this rabbit hole right now. But me saying that is, I have this deep understanding as to why women have been suppressed in society, in cultures for so long. Because, again, I don't know if you listened to my episode last week about past lives, I talked about the witch wound. This was a time in history, which was 333 years ago, was the witch trials, which I just think is cool. Numbers, synchronicities. We're coming back to this remembrance and understanding of this period in history where a lot of our souls have had experiences at this time in history. And witches were just women who were really in tune with that energy. And yes, there was good and there was bad. There was witches that were like magical and doing wonderful, beautiful things, and there were witches putting hexes on people. It but what the point I'm getting at is that they were so in tune with their divine feminine energy. They were in tune with their connection to nature, to plants, to herbs, to animals, to so the amount of wisdom and knowledge and understanding they had is what allowed them to create their spells and potions and whatever you hear when somebody says, "Oh, a witch." Obviously a lot of it has been commercialized, and Hollywood's done their spin on it in different movies, and I don't think a lot of it is 100% accurate to what happened, but these women were so powerful and they gathered together in groups, and they used the moon and the flow of energy, and they would do mantras together, and they did ceremonies together, and they would come together to make their energy more powerful. And still to this day, in certain countries in this world, like Afghanistan, I know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was more, it is illegal for women to gather. It is illegal. They are so scared, they are so intimidated about how powerful it is when women get together, when women work together, when women collaborate together and put their energy towards a common goal, how freaking powerful they are. They are so scared that it is illegal for them to talk to each other without a man present, because God forbid they tap into that divine feminine energy wisdom that we have access to. God forbid. Because do you know what would happen if the woman ran the world? I'm just saying it would be a lot more loving, a lot more compassionate, a lot more understanding, a lot more empathetic, probably qualities that we need. And I'm not a feminist. I don't think women need to be go, go, go. I'm a boss bitch. I don't need a man. Like I said, that's masculine energy. That's not what it means to be feminine. I think it's important that we have a provider and a protector. I think it allows us to have the space we need to be in that magical energy. I think we need that to be the most magnetic, powerful, feminine version of ourselves. And when I say feminine, I don't mean like you have to wear bows in your hair and long flowy dresses and do your makeup in your hair. And if that's what you want to do, girl, get it. I love getting dressed up and feeling beautiful. I love it. I don't do it every single day because I also love to be comfy sometimes. But that's not what I mean when I mean feminine. I mean flowy and in tune and going with the flow, and we're not worried about all these very masculine things this world is designed around and has made us worried about, okay? So I think it's important as a woman today, if you're in a place where you have the freedom and you have the knowledge and the understanding to develop this deep relationship with yourself. And it's something that we need to do for women who don't have these privileges, because the more we can do this, the more of a ripple effect we can make for the rest of the world. And one day I pray and I hope, and I'm hoping that it's someday soon, that there is some big shift that happens, and this can just be the normal way. I will be raising my future daughters to have such a different relationship with their body, with their cycle, with what it means to be a woman than I was given as a young child, as a young woman. And I can't wait to be able to teach that to my children. But it's something I had to learn on my own, and I had to learn it on my own. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here sharing and teaching with you guys. So, learning to honor and understand your cycle and being so in tune with your body, feeling into your body so you know. I can tell you exactly when I'm going to start bleeding, like almost to the minute. Like, I can be like, and now. Why? Because I have learned to tune in. I have learned to feel. I know what happens in my body leading up to this. I can feel the cycle, like all the changes and shifts that I go through in my cycle. I can tell you when I'm ovulating. I can tell you when I'm going to get my period. I can feel what it feels like in all four quarters of your cycle. And that gives you so much power, because also being you're also being more in tune with the energy around you and the flow of the energy, okay? Men are the sun. They go through the same hormonal changes in 24 hours. The sun goes through the same cycle in 24 hours. The man is the sun, but the woman is the moon. We go through a 28-ish day cycle is the same as the moon. The moon represents our emotions and it's constantly flowing through different energies. The sun takes 30 days into a new to go into a new energy. Aries, Taurus, Gemini. It's a month long. And a woman, the moon goes through a new energy every 2.5 days. And in a month, it goes through every energy. It goes through all 12 energies. So we are ebbing and flowing with that energy that's moving much more quickly. It's going through all these different emotions, all these different phases, all these different energies within a month. And the man's doing the same thing every single 24 hours. And it takes a whole month for that energy to change. It's more structured. It's more logical. It's more masculine, but the feminine is the flow. It's the understanding of these cycles. And it's such a beautiful gift that we get to flow with nature in this way because it makes us more in tune to that. And it gives us the power to honor all these things. Like when it's a full moon, it's time to release and let go. When it's a new moon, it's time to set intention and be very intentional with what you're calling in for this next phase of your life. Moon phases. To me, there's just so much like synchronicities about this that it just makes so much sense to my brain. Our cycle is the same as the moon cycle. We are meant to be more emotional beings. We are more ruled by emotion and less by logic. And I think that's why it's so important to have that like very masculine paired with the very feminine, because the masculine can be the reason and the structure and the whatever, the day-to-day things that are important and need to get done, where the feminine can feel and be intuitive and have that deeper spiritual connection to herself and to the earth and to the energy all around us. And this is a freaking superpower. Also, it gives you so much understanding and validation for what you're experiencing in your life. Like, have you been deeply emotional for this last phase? Well, we're in Pisces season and our dreams have been crazy, and the moon was just full a few days ago. So we're coming down from this full moon eclipse, and now we're going to go, we're on our way towards the new moon. So we're thinking about like, okay, we're coming up to the new moon and the energetic new year. So like this idea of intentions, what is next for us, is so important to think about. Being a woman is just such a gift. And I feel so differently now about what it means to be a woman and how lucky I am to be a woman right here, right now in this lifetime. There's a lot of trauma I've had to heal from this current life, from past lives, from my generational trauma of my family, of women who weren't allowed to speak up, who didn't have that relationship with their bodies, who like lived through a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. And it's not just me. I believe everybody holds on to this type of pain in one way or another, because take a look back at history. Women have been treated like shit, but no more. No freaking more. And the first step in that is not treating yourself like shit. Honoring all these things for yourself about what it means to be a woman. Because we're a gift from God. We're walking portals. We are divine goddess energy. Like, I just think sometimes, not all the time, but somebody should stand here and fan me and thank God for my beautiful being on this planet right now. I'm not saying this from an egotistical way. I'm just saying this from I don't think we get praised enough as women for what we do, for the emotions that we carry, for the intuitive wisdom that we deal with. Okay, sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes there's a lot of shit that we have to go through to unlock and understand and gain that relationship, this isn't always sunshine and rainbows, but the depth and the profound experiences that can come from this. But if you're scared of it, if you're not tuned into it, if you're not tapped into it, if you're way more in your masculine than in your feminine, it pulls you out of this being in tune with your cycle. It pulls you out of being in tune with nature. It pulls you out of being present. It pulls you out of that divine spiritual connection that we're given. And I think this is happening a lot for a lot of people all over the world because we're living in a very masculine world. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to do all these things. Most families, the men and the women, have to work in order to survive. And I don't think this is a coincidence. I think it was designed to be this way because they don't want women to be in their power. Why? Because we are so powerful that they're scared of us. I've done an episode about this before, and an experience I had at ayahuasca of like, if you are on your period at ayahuasca, the shaman can't sing to you because your energy is so fucking strong that it will overtake the shaman. Um, just let that sink in. Like, our energy is so powerful that a literal shaman who has trained for this for years and done so much work around this cannot like tune into our energy because we will overpower them. And I just think we need to let that sink in. I don't think we give ourselves enough credit because the world, society, cultures, history, all this evidence we have of how much women have been minimalized, how much women have been suppressed, how much women have been told to shut up. They're scared of us, jealous of us, intimidated by us, but we were told to be small, to sit down, to shut up. We have no rights. We can't do these things. Because what happens when a woman's in her power? She can do anything. She can create anything. She can bring freaking life into this world. And we're letting a man be like, nah, honey, sit down. I don't think so. So, I have a big ick for the toxic masculinity. Like, you have your job. Your job was to protect and to provide. And I think I'm very traditional in this way. Like, I think that is so important and that needs to be honored for them as well. Men are beautiful creatures in their own way when they're in that healthy masculine and they're here to provide and protect and be that strength and be that security and be that structure that we need added into our fluidity to make this beautiful yin and yang, okay? I love the yin and yang. I think it is just the most beautiful metaphor for life because inside all of us there's structure and inside of all men there is emotion, but we need that. We need that whole balance between the two in a partnership, in life, in everything. If we could figure this out in society, we would be light years ahead of where we are. But we can't because we'll get there. We're getting there. But I just want to say happy Women's Day. Happy Women's Month. Happy Women's Century. Okay? We're starting it now. It is time to celebrate, to honor, to absolutely adore yourself, all the women around you. We need to stop fighting with each other, stop bickering with each other, stop pulling each other apart, stop being jealous of each other, and learn to love and understand and work together because that is where the true power lies. I think if we lived in a matriarchy, we would maybe have more success than the patriarchy. Um, I don't think women need to be rule the world and men don't, but there needs to be balance. And I mean, everybody could do better with a little compassion, understanding, empathy, intuition, all these things that women are gifted with. And I think that if you're a woman in this life, it was a gift and embody that, tune into that, tap into that. We have a portal in our body, never forget that. And we are here to make some change in this world, especially right now. So, being in tune with your cycle, honoring emotions as they come up and understanding that there's so much wisdom in that. We are emotional for a reason. There is a lot of emotions going on right now because of the state of the world, because of all that's unraveling before us. It's a lot. So if you're not dealing with your own emotions, let alone all these other emotions from people around you, it's going to be more difficult. So I have a job, a task, a homework for you. I want you to sit by yourself in silence, or maybe put some soft meditation music on, and I want you to put your hands in a upside down triangle on your uterus. So like put both your palms on your uterus, but your fingers make a triangle pointing downwards, like over top of your uterus. And I want you to breathe into that space and tune into that energy and feel what comes up for you. Are you holding on to something here? Is there an emotion that comes up? Is there a feeling that comes up? Is there a trauma that comes up? Because once you can also process and clear out whatever you're holding in there, this portal is not only to birth children, it is for all of creativity. We're so creative. We are meant to create, and we're over consuming, we're not creating. So tune in, close your eyes, breathe into this space, feel what you feel. Are you holding on to sadness? Are you holding on to anger? Are you holding on to resentment? Are you honoring what it is truly means to be a woman? Are you honoring the phase of your life that you're in? Are you honoring the cycles of nature that we are in flow with? And just ask yourself these gentle questions, right? We're not judging, we're just observing, and we're here with love and compassion for ourselves because we need to do this work. We need to heal these wounds, not just for us, but for our ancestors who didn't get the chance to do it because they weren't allowed, they weren't taught, they weren't given that grace, and for our future children and the future generations, because the work we do now impacts the future generations, because we are making these connections, we are healing, we are tapping into this wisdom. So for them, it will just be normal. They don't have to go through what we're going through now to have these understandings because we're teaching them from the time they're babies. We know and understand truly what it means to be a woman so that our daughters don't ever have to question that. And you deserve it for yourself should be enough, but do it for your grandma. Do it for all your ancestors who were suppressed, who were told no, who were not allowed to honor what it means to be a woman. Because it's a freaking superpower. And this world needs more of that loving, divine, feminine, mother, unconditional love energy. And we first have to give it to ourselves. We first have to understand and honor and love that part of ourselves so that we can pass it on to others. And it takes work. It's not necessarily easy. And again, there's always beautiful souls out there who dedicate their lives to helping women do this, heal others. There are healers. Look into Reiki, look into even things like massage, like any sort of healing is just so powerful. This is definitely the direction in which I want to take my career because I know how many women suffer with things like endometriosis, PCOS, cysts, just painful periods. And to me, all of this is just a sign that there is that disconnection from our true feminine energy. We're holding on to trauma, we're holding on to pain and suffering that we've experienced, our ancestors have experienced. And if we can heal that, we are doing this for the future generations as well. And it's important because nobody deserves to go through that. And it sucks. It friggin' sucks, okay? I used to beat myself up all the time. It used to be the worst thing in the world to get my period, and now it's such a gift. It's a release. Our bodies are so smart and so in tune that every month it lets go of what we don't need. And you can use that to not just be like you're shedding your uterus lining, Shed the emotions you don't need. Shed the stress that you don't need. Shed whatever you have in your body that you don't need. Use your period to let go, to honor that cycle. And when your period lines up with the full moon, holy shit, I love when that happens. I love when that happens because it's like the biggest release ever. You might be uncontrollably sobbing. You might be having a really hard emotional few days while you're letting this go, but you know you feel so much better on the other side. And what's coming is going. When we feel those emotions, we're processing them and we let them go. We're not shoving them down. We're not storing them in there to have a painful next period. We're honoring it. We're letting it go. We're tuning in to what's showing up when it shows up. Why do I feel this way? What is this trying to tell me? What is this showing me? Our bodies are communicating with us, and it is literally a superpower. I hope this makes sense because to me, in my brain, this is just how everything works, and I can see the interconnectedness between all these things. So I hope that when I'm saying this, you're like, oh my God, yes. So I just want to say I love you. I love being a woman. Women are magical. Women are, I don't want to say superior because we're superior in our own way. We're superior in the like divine feminine energy is just beautiful. We're goddesses. We're portals. I'll say this every day till the day I die. I'm a motherfucking walking portal, okay? If I can create literal life and birth it into this world, like what else can I create? Bring it on. I can create anything. A beautiful home, a beautiful life, a beautiful career. I can create art. I can create literally like your whole reality. You're creating your whole reality. And like when you tap into this, when you can use that womb space for creation of whatever it is you're trying to create, magic. Listen to my chakra series if you haven't. I talk about this and the flow of energy and how that all manifests. So, a lot of wisdom comes from this space and creativity. And being a woman is amazing. And if you don't feel that about being a woman, there might be some work to do there. And that's okay. But now's the time to start because we got to do this, not for ourselves, but for all the women before us, even all the women now that don't have access to this, that aren't allowed to do this. Do for them. If you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for them because they deserve it. You deserve it. Everybody deserves it. We're in the era of healing, baby, okay? All right, that's all for today. I love each and every one of you, beautiful, beautiful souls. Thank you for being here. If you have any questions, if you had any insights, if you want to share anything with me, please reach out to me. I love hearing from you guys. It makes my day. So we'll talk to you next week. And I love you all. Bye.